Okay.
We
Hold
mute
on,
the
yeah,
camera.
Miss Lee. I put the background first. We turn off camera. We turn off everything first. And then when I see Miss Iris turn on her camera, I will stop the recording. Okay? I will stop the playing of music.
Okay.
Then it will stream on Facebook already. Yeah?
I have one more thing to mention. Later during this presentation, Miss Grace is going to demo, so we'll be moving around. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
It's okay. Thank you. Good luck.
Good morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Iris from UTAR Center for Corporate and Community Development. Today we are presenting a webinar titled Wonder of Taxonomy, Making Mushroom Paper by Ms. Ting Ching and Ms. Nabilah. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box in your Zoom control panel. I will bring them up during the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Please sign your attendance in the link posted in the chat box. We are streaming this webinar live on e-KLESF Facebook page. Please help us to like and share this video. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker today, Ms. Ting Ching and Ms. Nabilah. They are both lecturers from UTAR Center of Foundation Study. So without further delay, let us turn the time over to Ms. Ting and Ms. Nabilah.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Grace. This is Miss Nabilah. We are here today to conduct a webinar. So we are very excited about it actually. Before we actually go to the content of the webinar, let me give you a bit of a sneak peek of what we're going to do today. But definitely there will be a demo video. So we're going to start with Miss Nabilah sharing about the contents first as the first part. So she will explain some of the objective of the webinars as well as the biological concept. Hopefully at the end of this webinar, you can have some interest about biology as well. And then after that, in the second part, then I'm going to show you exactly how we produce a mushroom paper. Yes. So we thank you for coming, making yourself available in this early morning. So without further delay, let's welcome Ms. Nabilah to have the introductions first. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grace, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are actually very happy to have all of you with us. Now, let's just go straight to what is this webinar about? Why are you all here? What is it you're going to learn? So let's look at some objective of today's webinar first. So there are 4 objectives actually in today's webinar. First is, of course, to learn about the simple paper making techniques. So that's the first thing that we're going to look at today. I mean, we are all used to having use papers every day, but have you ever wondered how paper is actually produced? When was it actually produced the first time? So that goes back many years ago, about 2000 years ago. So we're going to look at the basic principles of that conventional paper making technique. So that's the first thing we're going to learn today. Okay, after that, the second objective is to encourage recycling. Because why would we want to go through all these basic steps again? Now, the reason is because we try not to chop too many trees anymore. Okay, so we try to encourage recycling by using maybe used papers, newspaper. But for today, we're not going to use that lah. We're going to use mushroom instead. Okay, why mushroom? Because that brings us to the third objective, which is to appreciate biodiversity of life. So what is this? What is this biodiversity? Because I believe all of you know, papers actually comes from trees. Because it comes from trees, so that's why we ended up chopping a lot of trees. But we need this tree, right? So we try to look for other resources, and that's how mushroom come into this experiment, into this objective today. Okay, so this is for us to appreciate, oh, other than trees, there are actually other sources that we can actually use to make papers. Okay, and of course, all this while we know that mushroom is used as food, as the maybe your favorite ingredients in your pasta maybe, but now we know, oh, actually you can use mushroom as a source to make papers also. Okay, but of course we try not to use those edible mushroom. Later we're going to see what kind of mushrooms that you can use. Okay, so that is objective number 3. And objective number 4, since we are learning about mushroom, so let's dig a little bit more into the information about mushroom and to promote a little bit, maybe a little bit of interest. We are not interested in science before, a little bit of interest in biology. Okay, so those are the 4 objectives for today's webinar. But before I move on, before I continue, I want to take this opportunity to also take a few minutes to introduce you about, can you see the logos here on my slide? There are 2 logos there. Can you see that? Okay, so what is this logo representing? Can you see the one that is colorful down there, the one in circle? Okay, so this is actually a goals, not a goal. It's a 17 goals that is introduced by United Nations. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a few years back. It's called the Sustainable Development Goals. So what is this? This is this is actually an initiative by United Nations. So that we can live in a world that is more sustainable in the future, because I believe you also know we have so many climate changes, we have so many things that is happening in this world, and it seems that the world is dying. So that's why we have these 17 goals. Now, out of these 17 goals, our experiment today is actually in line with goal number 12, which is responsible consumption and production, because we can recycle papers or maybe other materials to produce new papers, and we are producing new things at the same time. Okay, so that's how it is in line with this goal. All right, so that's it about the objective. Now, moving on, let's look at the star of today's webinar, which is the mushroom. Okay, just now I told you, we know mushroom from the food that we eat, maybe as your favorite ingredients in some of the food that you like. But can you use those mushrooms? Can you use the mushroom that is in your pasta and take it out and make paper? Answer is no. Okay, answer is no. Why? Because the mushroom that is suitable for you to make paper, it must be a tough mushroom. The one normally it is in the category that we call as wood decay fungus. So where do you find this wood decay fungus? You don't have to buy them. Of course, they are being sold as well, but you don't have to necessarily buy them, because our objective is to reduce consumption, right? So where can you find them? You can find them if you love hiking, if you love trekking. So when you go into the woods, you will find, I believe you notice there are some tree trunks that is already dead. And at the sides, there will be a lot of mushrooms. And if you notice, these mushrooms come in many, many varieties. Some of them are soft, if you did touch that. Okay, some of them are soft, some of them are quite hard. So the one that we are interested in are those that is hard. So we want that. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the mushrooms that we are interested in. It must be tough. Normally, it is inedible, but not all are edible. Some are edible. Okay, why you want it to be tough? Because it has a certain content inside it that you want, that is very suitable for us to make paper, which is high fiber content. Okay, why you want that? Why you want the fiber to be high in content? So that your paper can last longer. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the mushrooms that we are interested in. Okay, so of course here, if you notice, I did not really specify the species because there are so many that you can use. Okay, so that's why I just put there wood decay fungus, and normally it's very tough, right? So that brings us to the next question. What makes these mushrooms so tough? Now, this one is the part that we go a little bit into science, little bit into chemistry, into biology. If you had biology in your school last time, probably some of the terms are familiar to you. Maybe it is not. Maybe you are learning something new here. So the reason why it is tough is because of the molecule that is contained within it. Where exactly in the mushroom is located here in the wall of the mushroom. Okay, because for your information, if you are not from science background, all our bodies are made of cells, right? I believe all of you know this. Okay, so for fungus, they have a cell wall. The cell comes with a wall on the outside. Okay, so their wall is made up of a molecule we call as chitin. Okay, so what is this chitin actually? It is in the same family as your polysaccharide. Have you heard of this word polysaccharide before? Anybody wants to tell me whether you've heard this before, whether it brings any memory back to you? Where do you find polysaccharide? You actually eat polysaccharide every day. Anybody wants to try? Anybody wants to tell me where do you find polysaccharide in your everyday life? Yes? Anybody? Don't let me hide in here. Anybody wants to try? Why do you have polysaccharide every day? Did you eat polysaccharide every day? I believe we Asians eat polysaccharide more. Any answers there, Miss Grace? No answer. Too bad. Okay, so polysaccharide, let me just answer that. So polysaccharide is actually another common term for it would be your carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is a staple food that we eat every day, right? However, the chitin is a type of polysaccharide that normally we don't eat lah. The one that we eat is actually glucose. All right, there's another sibling of glucose. We call it as chitin. So this chitin is the one that is found in the mushroom. Okay, that is the special thing about mushroom. Now, this chitin is not normally found anywhere else. Most of the time, it is found in the exoskeleton of arthropods and crustaceans. So what are these? So many big words there, right? So many big terms. What is this? Exoskeleton, arthropods, crustaceans. So exoskeleton, just to give you an overview. Exoskeleton is the hard shell, the outer skeleton of an organism. So where do you find animals with the outer shells? So that would be in arthropods. Arthropods, another term for it would be insects. And crustaceans. Crustaceans, another term for it would be all those sea animals that comes with the shells. Example is crab here we have. And beetle is, of course, an insect and arthropods. So these are the category of animals or organisms that have chitin. So where exactly is the chitin? In the exoskeleton, in the outer shells. All these shells are hard because of the presence of this chitin. Okay, so mushroom is special in that way because mushroom is not exactly an animal, right? But it has that compound, that chitin, that makes it so tough. Now, if you are more interested in the maybe the chemistry of chitin. So this is how chitin looks like. This is the molecular structure of how it looks like. Now, if you are very good in chemistry, you might probably notice that the molecule almost looks similar like a glucose. However, it has this side chain, this very weird structure on the bottom part here. This is the molecules, the parts of chitin that differs it from your normal glucose. Okay, so that's it about the molecular structure of mushroom. What makes it tough? Now, next we want to see how is this different than your conventional paper, your normal paper made up of only 3. So, do they have chitin? Do they have the same compound? Answer is no. Okay, answer is no. Mushroom, as mentioned, it contains chitin. Now, unlike mushroom, our normal paper has another molecule. Okay, we call it as cellulose. Now recall, if you have science background, you probably have heard of this term before in school, right? Cellulose is a very famous compound whenever we talk about a plant cell. Okay, the cell wall of a plant. Now bear in mind, one more thing to highlight, is mushroom a tree? Is mushroom a plant? That is something for us to ponder if you never think about it before, because mushroom is actually not a plant. It is in the form of, it is in the category of fungus, which is a little bit different than plant. So that's where it is different here, right? So that's it about the difference between mushroom and normal paper. Okay, that's it about the background. Now we're going to look at what are the materials that we need to do today's experiment. Okay, so basically these are the materials and equipment. Seems macam a lot, but you will see later Miss Grace is going to do some demo. Some of the materials are optional. I didn't write here though, I forgot to mention here, cotton gauze. Of course, for us to do this experiment, mushroom pulp would be the star ingredients, right? And then the second one is my cotton gauze. I think we're going to replace it with, what is this? A strainer, sorry, a strainer. Okay, and then we're going to use a frame. You can see a picture here at the side. We're going to use a frame with mesh net installed inside, and then we're going to use a spatula here, a sponge, scissors, a dry towel here, a paper clip to hold the picture frames, and then what else? Baking paper here. On the bottom here, baking paper, and another optional equipment would be either oven or microwave. Okay, so those are the materials. Next, we're going to move on to the procedure. Now, to make it easy for you to follow, I didn't come up with any written procedures. Instead, we're going to see a video. Is everybody doing okay so far? Can give reactions, huh? I cannot see though. Is everybody okay right now? Can see reactions? I cannot see. Okay, so never mind, it's okay. I think we're just going to move on to our videos. So this video is actually produced by our students a few years back. So she actually make a very good step-by-step procedures for you to see here. So now let's have a look. Can you hear the sound? Iris, is this okay? Can you hear? I'm not sure if they can hear.
Yeah, can you play?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's how you produce mushroom paper. Wait, let me stop share for a while. So that's how you basically how you prepare mushroom paper. But if you notice, I didn't really explain. It's just a very brief procedure, just for you to get the idea of how we can produce this paper. Because later on, Miss Grace is going to show you the step by step, and she's going to explain the process along the way. Okay, so that is how we produce it. Now, as mentioned earlier, this paper making is quite a crude process. It's quite a basic process, and since we are using mushroom instead of recycled papers, now next thing I want to share with you how the normal conventional paper is produced. Okay, so let's have a look at another video, just to have a comparison of how this process is different than maybe those papers that is produced from trees. So let's enjoy the next video. But this video is not prepared by us. I actually took it from YouTube. It's actually from a famous YouTuber in China. I think some of you probably have heard of her, Lisa Chi. Okay, so let's see the second one. Sorry about that. She actually put some ash here. I'm sorry, my video doesn't come with a subtitle. She actually put some ashes there together with her the tree stem.
Boil for 15 hours.
Boil for how many hours? 15 hours.
Soften the wooden fiber.
So now you see the skin is already soft, easier for her to peel the fibers one by one. And she mash it.
So I'm just cutting into pieces.
And then she just dry it. This is the sanding process to make it to make the surface more smooth. Then she remove it, make sure it doesn't stick to the frame. And then that's how you get your paper. This one, she make a careless mistake here. You can still use the paper though. And you can still write on it. Okay, so that's how you produce the paper conventionally. One thing to note, the first thing, the tree that she's using is a mulberry tree. As long as the stem is hard, then it should be fine. And then the next thing to note would be, of course, it seems much a bit tedious, right? A lot of work is involved there. But I would say one of the steps that is similar to us. This is the basic principle actually. We need a frame depending on how large you want your paper to be. So the frame size can be adjusted accordingly according to your preference lah. Okay, and then we need, here she used a pond, I would say, a pond or pool, but we're going to use just a basin later. But the same principle, same concept. We're going to use the water to distribute all this pulp so that you can produce the paper that you want. Okay, so that is how basically paper is made regardless of what is the source. So next, this is what we're going to do. Everybody, I hope you can be patient with us. We need about 1 minute to get prepared so that Miss Grace is ready to do the demonstration. Is that okay, Iris? 1 minute. Okay, so we're going to take a very short break for 1 minute. Let us just get ready a little bit and then we're going to come back. Okay, thank you.
Oops. One moment. Come. I show you.
Okay, Miss Grace.
So let's get started. So just now in the video, you can see, wait, the process of making is quite lengthy in the China YouTubers. So I'm going to demo to you a method that is much more easier, simpler method by using some of the things that you can actually repurpose. Something that you probably don't use it anymore, you can actually repurpose it to make your own mesh frame. But let's look at the main specimen that we're using today first. This is the mushroom that we get, right? So I actually have to soak it overnight. Then only it can become soft. Feel for you, see, it's very soft. Yep. So after that, we're just gonna mince it into pieces. Small chunk like this will do. Yeah, small chunk like this. But what we see is that after you have all this mince part of the mushroom, then we're gonna transfer it to the blender. Actually, I did it few hours earlier because I believe if I do it now, it's going to be quite annoying, the noise from the blender. So I already advanced it, doing it. But what I do is that I'm actually transfer the mushroom into it, and then you're just gonna add in water bit by bit. Now it's very important for you to control the amount of water that you add in, because that will affect the consistency of your mushroom parts. Then this consistency, how do we say consistency is that if you put in too much of water, your paper might end up very, very thin, very fragile. So if you add in too little, they become too thick. So it is very important for you to maintain the consistency of what we call the mushroom pulp. So I'll show you how the consistency. You can try it at home also. If you've got a blender, if you don't have a blender, no problem. You can use mortar and pestle to do the same work. What you see inside, you would see this is the after blending process. This is the kind of consistency, some sort of like a marshmallow consistency. I'll scroll up some for you. You can feel, okay, you see? It's a bit watery, but it's not very watery. You still can see all these, we say it's a pulp mushroom here. So make sure when you blend it, you make sure there's no hard substances anymore existing in the blender. And then they all are completely being mashed into small tiny pieces like this. That will do. So once we have this mushroom pulp, we call it, so we're going to transfer it. The amount that you use, depending on the size of the mesh net that you have, the frame that you got. If you have a big one, of course, you probably need more than that. But I'm using a very small, not really small, but it's a greeting card size, I would say. Less, but it's definitely smaller than A4 size. So I'm using the measurement of 125 ml here. Yeah, so we're just going to transfer the pulp into the measuring cup here. Exactly 125. Let's go. So we're gonna start our process. But first of all, probably some of you will be asking, hey, how do we get this? We don't have a frame with me. So if you have time later on, if you have it, probably you cannot do it now. Next time, if you feel like you want to recycle some of your paper that you're going to throw away, don't throw away. Try these methods. So I'm going to teach you how to make the, we call it the paper making frame. Very easy actually. I actually got this repurposed from the used picture frame. Just remove the glasses part. Yeah, and you have two frames like this. What you do is you get a mesh net. Make sure that you cut the mesh net into the exact size of the frame itself. Then you're going to stabilize it by using, in this case, I'm using a stapler gun. If you don't have a stapler gun, you can also use a nail to do it. Same function. So what you do is basically you just have to fix it there. Sorry for the noises. Just have to fix it. Make sure it doesn't move here and there. Of the mesh net. This is a mesh net I get for the purpose of mosquito trapping. It's just a mosquito net. You can get it from any hardware shop. Available in the hardware. It's available in the hardware shop now. So you can actually get it. Make sure you can see there are some edge here. You make sure that it's sealed because this is where we're actually going to keep the mushroom on top. So we don't want it leaking here and there with water. So make sure you stabilize it. If you don't have a stapler gun, no problem. You can also use a nail and a hammer. That works the same as well. Apology for the noise again. Once again, early in the morning. So we're just gonna mix it here. Oh, mix it. Sorry. We got it here. And then once you a moment, let me change direction first. This is how you get it, see? So how do you assemble them? You've got another frame here. You make sure that you want the smooth end because for photo frame, there has a groove, right? We don't want that part because there is place where you will not get an even mushroom paper or any paper. So you make sure you find the side with the even surface. Same goes to the first one that I used to pin my mesh net. It's the same actually. I use the flat surface, the one with the even surface. So after you have done this, just gonna assemble it like this. Now, when you put it into the pond, like what you see in the YouTube video, it moves around, it slides quite easily. So you need to stabilize it. Here I've got a rubber band, but you can also use a clip, but considering the thickness of the overall frame, when I combine the two, quite difficult for me to find a clip. So you can just use a rubber band that would work the same. Oh, sorry. This one will do. Oh, one moment. Let me get you rubber band.
Please bear with us for a while.
You can use a rubber band. If you don't have a rubber band, a rope will do. Jute string will do. They will work the same. So just make sure that it doesn't move here and there, just to stabilize it, just for the purpose of stabilizing it. Yeah. So that is how you see how easy is it for you to make your frame. Last time when we conduct the workshop, they actually asked whether are we selling this frame, or not. Actually, we are not selling it because all these all these things we get it from scrap. So there's no point of selling it to you also. But you can try to get some frames that you don't use at home, and then you can make your own. You see, and it lasts for very long. Example, the one that I'm using today is a smaller size. I didn't use this, but it's still workable. I tried just now, but because I wanted to show you a faster process due to the time constraint, I'm using a smaller version. This is what we've been using 2 years ago. See, it still lasts very long. And then sometimes when I like some paper that looks much like a recyclable texture, I still use it. So we have a clip here. It's much more better. If you get a smaller frame, of course, lesser time is used to make the paper. All right, so that's how you how do you build your own paper making frame. So now we're going to proceed with the most important part, which is the process of making it. I have a basin of water here. We're going to use this basin of water just like how you see in the YouTube video. Clean water. Next thing, we look at the materials that we need. Clean towel. Preferably, you get a towel that is much more absorbable, and less fun. You will see why we need all these later on throughout the processes. A strainer, and this is our mushroom part just now. So what we're going to do here, very simple. We're just going to transfer and a spatula. This is oil. You will see why we need oil later on. Oil. Make sure you've got 2 sponges because they serve different purposes. Spatula, baking paper, dry towel as mentioned, and most importantly, stand by your picture frame, or you call it paper making frame. Nice. So let's start now. we have your strainer ready. You're just going to transfer this mushroom part. You can see that our very watery. We don't want it watery. We want it to be dry first to remove as much excessive water as possible. So you're just going to transfer it to the strainer. Again, it's 125 ml. If you don't have a measuring cup, I believe you definitely have this kind of container. When you order food to take away, this kind of container, make sure it's full. That is the portion to get the size of a paper of this size. And of course, if you use a bigger one, much nicer, isn't it? If you want to give as a gift or as decor, probably you need 2 of these containers. So that's it for that part. So come back here, come, right? See, water already been collected down there. So we're still seeing some water somewhere. So don't mind getting your hand dirty and messy because anyhow it's just mushroom. You can use the spatula to press on it. If you don't have a spatula, no problem. You can use the spoon to do the same work. So you can see that there's some more water being pressed up. If you feel like, this is so long, no problem. Use your hand. Then you're just gonna gather everything and then you press as much water out as possible. Again, we are not making the paper to become edible, so it's all right to use your hands. You can squeeze. See, there are more water coming out, much more water coming out from here. Oops. So this is the end part that we want. We want it dry. Why? Because later when we put into the water, you can salvage as much mushroom as possible to make it the mushroom paper. We don't want it to be going to the waste into the pond of water. So once you have this part done, moving on, come over. You have your, this one we put aside first. You want to put aside here first. You have your picture frame. I'm using a small one again. So make sure you know which side that you're supposed to cast your mushroom pulp. There are 2 sides here. Let me show you. One side here, one side here, right? The mushroom must be on top of where you see all your nails and your stapler. You will see why later on. If you put it this side, trust me, it won't work because there is transferring work going on after that. So you must make sure that you put it on the side with the stapler and the stems on it. I don't have better way to describe. I hope this is clear to you. So let's assemble it. Make sure it's tight. So how do we make sure that it's tight? Ms. Nabilah, help me. We're just going to clip it. Yep. Good. Make sure nothing is obstructing the surface of the picture frame, the mesh net especially. Now we're going to move on to the next step. Ready? So get the paper making frame. You drop it, but before you drop it, you can see, why is it very shiny? It's because I put oil on it just now. So why do we need oil? Just a little bit. You just rub a little bit of oil on it. Not too much, just a very thin layer of it will do. Thin layer will do. Why is that so? Because later on, we want it to be separated easily out from the mesh net. We want it to be able to come up more easier without breaking the mushroom paper. Now we are done, the preparation steps. Submerge, not to say submerge, I would say immerse this frame so that it is just, so that the water is just enough to cover the frame. See, just enough. Don't go too deep, because later on you will, all these mushroom that you put in is going to spill everywhere. It's going to be messy, and then your paper is not going to be in a nice shape. So once you have this, remember this, you're just going to drop it and then use your finger to disperse it. Disperse it. It's going to take some time and a lot of patience in doing it. Don't rush in it. Take it slowly. Do it slowly. So that you want to have all these mushroom pulps to completely cover the surface of the mesh net. You can use a spatula to reach the corner and also those edges that is difficult to reach for. but you can see my hand. In the same time, I'm holding it so that the frame is not too deep into the water and it's also not too shallow. It's just enough for me to disperse the pulp. Can you see? Now it's nicely dispersed. So why we need to make sure that it is covered everywhere? If you didn't do these steps patiently, we're gonna get a hole here, maybe hole here and there. So we don't want that to happen. So check, make sure it's nice. Oh, okay, it looks nice already. Now we're gonna lift it up gently. There you have your mushroom paper custard. See? So the next few steps, I'm going to show you how we do the transfer. Transfer is also a work that requires a steady hand and a patient heart. You don't rush, do slowly, take it easy. So what we do is, let's remove the water. Remember the dry towel I mentioned earlier? So what we're going to do is that we are going to have it here. Gently, don't rush, remove the clip. It's very hard, so you have to gently remove it. Take your time to slowly remove it. Okay, so if you look at the, let me zoom in to show you, you can see some of the mushroom is still stick to the edge. So in order for you to successfully extract this mushroom paper out, you need to scrape using the end of a spatula. If you don't have it, you use a knife will do, but be careful. So you just have to scrape out so that it's easy for you to remove the mushroom paper from the mesh net later on, as well as to separate it from the frame itself. So make sure you got these. Make sure you have all these parts. Separate it first. It takes a lot of patience actually to do it. So if you have time, you can do it. It's quite therapeutic in the same time as well, as much as we want to promote how to make recyclable paper. The same methods apply in using a newspaper or this paper. Before you throw, perhaps you can use these methods. That's also how, in a way, that we can maintain the sustainability of the world nowadays. Okay, now we have it separated. What we do, very easy. Lift it out. There you have it. Lift the top frame and take it out. So next thing, don't touch it because it's going to be very fragile at the moment, very, very soft, because you need time for it to dry off. So the next thing will be to flip it. Flipping it, I want to transfer this mushroom paper to the towel that I have. So what I do is, you cover the mushroom with the towel, right? And then you're just going to gently hold with one hand. This one takes some skill. Practice a few times and you will get it right. Then you're going to flip it. Once you flip it, remove your hand gently. Then you would see, hey, there are some more water. So that is why you need another piece of the sponge, the one that is different than the oil, this sponge. And then you remove as much water as possible. There are still water going on here and there. So you're just going to remove the water as much as possible. So it's a very process that needs a lot of patience and must be careful when you do it. But trust me, the end product is very nice, and then you will feel very very happy at the end to see the outcomes of it. Still got some more water. Be patient. Press as much water as possible. That way, you are also exerting the pressure so that the mushroom papers goes into your goes into your towel. Yep. All right, I think should be good. This is the moment Now we're just going to gently tap a bit and then make sure that it is being separated out. See, there you have it. Because I was pressing it, so it got transferred to the towel. Now the next thing will be to transfer this mushroom paper to a baking paper. Why baking paper? Because we're going to use this baking paper together with the mushroom and we go into the oven. If you don't want it to be in the oven, you can also air dry it. So this is another flipping. 2 times you do flipping. So the next thing, now lift the towel together with the mushroom. With one hand holding the baking paper, left hand with the towel and the mushroom. See, it's here. Second one with the baking paper. Then you're just going to flip it. Once you flip it, this is the moment. Also, be extra careful to slowly separate the mushroom paper from the towel.
Yay.
There you have it. So this is how you make a mushroom paper, students. Then we're going to transfer it into the oven. Normally it takes like last time when we do it, it takes because we want the participants to get to see the products as soon as possible. And so we put it into the oven probably for about 20 minutes at high temperature. But not too high temperature because you will end up burning the mushroom paper. Try not to burn it at a high temperature. So we're going to send it into the oven for baking. That part, I don't think we need to show that, but I do have some end product to share you. See? So after oven, this is what you can see. To be frank with you all, this paper that I made has lasted for 2 years already. So I didn't put in the oven. I actually just leave it like this, air dry. But to reach maximum dryness, I actually left it in my car for 2 years. So you can see, that is why we said mushroom is, if you make it from mushroom, it's very durable, it's very lasting. It's very lasting. So yep, that's what we get. So that's all from me, Miss Nabilah, passing it back to you. I hope you learned something. And also hopefully we learn something from making this video, making this paper. And also together we appreciate the techniques that was developed by our ancestor for 2,000 years. For your information, paper was invented by Chinese from China 2,000 years ago. So the techniques that I'm showing you is the simplified form. Of course, the one you see in the YouTube video is a very complicated one. Hopefully with this simple method, we all together can try at home to make your own paper. So if you want, let's say you want your, for example, right, you got your paper, let's say you don't have mushroom, can or not can, you can get any newspaper. Say for example, those paper you want to throw away, don't throw it. You can make it nice. If you like it pink, you get something pink. Don't put a lot, you just tear a little bit of the pink, you put into the blender, it will turn out a very nice baby pink colored paper. So that is how interesting making recyclable paper can be. So take your time when you are free, try this method at home. Thank you. That's all from me. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Miss Grace. For the next part, I will need another 1 minute to get prepared. We have a little bit more to show you. So I think let's go for 1 minute break and I'll be back with you all. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that disturbance.
You have to close this.
Sorry about that disturbance. So welcome back. Now, before we bring it to the end, I have one more thing. We have some quizzes actually. So I hope you can get ready. If you did pay attention, these quizzes, all these questions should be very easy for all of you. So let me just share where can you find the quiz. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with.
Can you ask them the procedures just now? Was it lagging? Do they need me to show you again which part? I don't mind actually.
Wait, oh yeah, before we move on, yes, Miss Grace is asking, is there any part of the procedure that was lagging that is not very clear? She is more than willing to show again, whichever part that is lagging. Anybody? All clear? Okay, thank you so much for responding to that. Oh yeah, so let's go back to the quiz.
I want to tell them how we can do what we can do with these participants. I'm so sorry. I want to tell you, did you see the slides here? Can you show your slides?
Haven't yet. Not yet.
Did you see?
Wait.
You can actually make it a bookmark, you know. I have picture to share with you. This was done 2 years ago. You can see one of my participants, she actually, this is to prove to you, the paper that you're making, you can actually draw on it, you know. It can become a very nice gift to give away. And you can also punch a hole, cut it into the size of a bookmark, and that serves as a bookmark as well. Yeah, interesting, right?
Yes.
So I really hope you all can go, if you have time, try this. It's very interesting, actually. So, yep, that's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, if you notice here also, there's actually 2 types of bookmarks that we produced last time. One is brown color. The brown color is actually the mushroom paper. And another one is gray color, a bit whitish. That one is actually from recycled paper. We use newspaper, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so we can have a lot actually. A lot of resources can be used. Yeah. And
now it's the quiz time. Yes.
Okay, so now it's the quiz time. Please get ready. Are you familiar with these quizzes? Hopefully you are. So we have few questions, 7 questions actually.
Got prize, participants?
There is prize, yes. There is prize for the top 3 winners. So if you did really listen, please take this chance to get some of the good prizes. So maybe you can go to quizzes, or I can also give you the link. I'm going to copy the link to the chat. So you can go there. Oh, sorry, not this one is just to Aliyah, maybe everyone. You can go there, right? There's a question here while all of you are joining. I'm still waiting for participants to join. So there is a question, maybe Miss Grace can answer this. At what temperature did you use?
Last time it depends on the size of your oven. This is Miss Nuru. It depends on the size of your oven. We only have a very small size oven, so the temperature can rise up very quickly. At that time, we only set at about 150 degrees Celsius. It should not be exceeding it because we also experienced that the paper was burning in the process of heating up. But if you are not rushing, as how we do the workshop, we want the participant to get the product quickly. If you're not rushing, why not just take some 1 day or 2, let it dry under the fan or in the aircon room, or you can use blower. That I will recommend you because that way it's much more safer.
Okay, another question. Is it we can use any type of mushroom for the paper making?
Any type of the mushroom. Don't go with the expensive one because we have expensive type. We call the linzi. You know, there is very good sauce, but to be honest, the linzi is very, very expensive actually. So it's more on the Chinese herbs to be used. So since it has their own functions there, use something that is that is hard, as long as it is hard,
not soft.
Find something that is more economic and make sure that the amount of skitings that they have is enough. So how do you know that the content is enough? Just make sure that when you touch it, it looks hard and it has a texture like a wood fiber. It's actually not a fiber, but it resembles the texture of the wood fiber. Then feel free to use that kind of mushroom. So have fun.
Yes, I would
Anytime.
like to add on that. The chitin content in different mushroom are different.
Yeah.
So you have to look for the one that is a little bit
Yes,
hard.
and this is from this food. What is this? Yep.
This is from
This one.
Wei
This
Ming.
is from Wei Ying. Hopefully it's clear for you, Wei Ying. Feel free to ask more questions. We do like to have this opportunity to entertain as much questions as possible, because this is a very interesting techniques actually. We make it simple. So we want to share it with all of you so that we all can practice this kind of techniques. Okay, let's start now.
I think there's no
I'm
more
excited.
question there. Are you all ready for the quiz? It's only 7 questions.
How many of them? Oh, got 19 already.
19. Where did you say? Oh yeah. Okay, so I think we can start. Hopefully everybody's already there.
We count down for 5 seconds.
Okay.
Then only they start.
Okay.
Maybe we see. Maybe some are having trouble coming in.
Yeah.
5,
4,
3,
3, 2, and 1. We're going to start now. Good luck, everyone. Wow. Aliyah is leading right now.
Now Eren
is beating Aliyah. Whoa, that is fast. Yeah, Eren is leading still. Eren is still leading. 1 more question to go.
Nurul is catching up.
Woo! Eren is done.
Wow, Eren got all 7 correct.
She made it.
Nurul, you can do it. Oh Lord, it's catching it.
Oh yeah. Come on, you still got time to do this. You are waiting for the rest to complete this quiz. Oh, I think that's the Aiden and I'm Shar. Yes. I think we have our winner here, so I think we're going to end this quiz. All right, thank you everyone for your participation. Let's look at the winners. Are we going to go here? And this, or just look at the winners here?
Oh, they're still doing now.
Oh. Okay, I think we wait for another 3 to complete it.
They're still doing.
two more participants, and then we are done.
I think should be fine already. Most of them are done.
Not here.
Okay. We should end this now. I think we have our winners already.
Yes, so we have
know who is the
Rajaswari.
Oh, no, Iran.
We have Rajaswari, Iran, Lo,
Okay.
and
Yep. Thank you so much.
thank you so much for your participation. So we have the first winner, Rajaswari, and then followed by Iran and also Lomo. So thank you again to the winners. Please leave your contact here. Here. There is already information here, so please put your contact there. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having us today.
One question from, so sorry, we have one question from Miss Nuru again.
It's okay.
Oh yeah, try not to go with the poisonous mushroom.
mushroom.
How do you know whether mushroom is poisonous or not? Look for those that looks pretty and vibrant in color. That is most likely going to be poisonous. Yeah, so that's why we say beautiful things are somehow very toxic. So yeah, look for the one that has the color of the woody color. That is the best one. Okay, I hope we answer Nuru's question. Any further questions before we end today's seminar? Yep, that's all from us, I guess.
All right, thank you for having us. Join us again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you all.
Miss Iris, you are mute.
Sorry. Then thank you all the participants. So kindly fill up the sign up form and the feedback form after the webinar. Then we appreciate you being here today and would like to take a group photo with you. Everyone in the Zoom, please turn on your camera. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you. So Miss Ting and Miss Nabilah, is there anything you would like to cover before we wrap up?
My last message to all of you.
Yes, what's that?
Please recycle, reduce, reuse. Yeah. That's all from us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, great. Thank you, Miss Ting and Miss Nabilah, for this insightful webinar. So dear participants, please join us for Satellite Remote Sensing on Oil Palm Plantation by Dr. Toh Jia Ming from UTAR at 11:30 a.m. today. Thank you and stay safe.